if you're watching it live or after the effect. Let me just try and move the camera a little bit. There we go. So what I'm doing today is I'm just basically largely playing around with some old equipment. In this case, it's an old V1 Connect. Wow, I know, in 2022, still using a Connect. Yeah, there's a use case for it for today anyway. So I'm going to be using, oh, by the way, I masked up. I will remove a mask because I might work at some point during the video, so I won't be wearing it all the time. If you can't hear me, just let me know at any point. So what I'm going to be using today is the Connect V1, and it's going to be plugged in to my work laptop. It's a bit on the kind of bulky side, so I can't really show you a better angle of that. And I'm going to be scanning this mannequin. I don't know where it came from. It's sort of just one that we found at the university that kind of probably got bought and just abandoned. So I'm just going to play about scanning it. So this is just a kind of behind the scenes. I'm not going to really be able to kind of, this is not a tutorial. There's no real information you're going to glean from this, other than the fact that I'm using a £5 Connect and a £100 piece of software. I've got a pro license for it called Skanning, which you can look up online. I think I did a video on it years ago. I don't know if it's on this channel or on one of the old ones, but I did do a video on it a long time ago. So I'm just going to play about with that and try to do some scans. So I'm just going to go and set up my new scene. So just let me go to new. There we go. Grab my scanner. So you won't be able to see what the laptop screen sees, sadly. I can't find a way of showing both of them off. So I've got my Connect. This is wired in. I'm going to have to orbit around my subject. I've got a swivel chair, so if I can, I might try and see if I can stand still and just do that kind of thing. It might not like it, so I'm just kind of being a bit cautious about that. So I'm looking on my screen, trying to make sure the subject is in green, which they are the distance I'm at. Pressing record. It'd be good if I had a turntable. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to turn the chair, so I'm going to actually physically have to walk around it. I'm just going to pan around my subject slowly, keeping an eye on the screen so I don't lose track of it. I will be off screen for a little bit, and then you'll see just my back for a while, I'm afraid. I'm just going to go up and down and around. Now I kind of like to do an orbit pattern, which is the way it's supposed to do this. I won't be able to get all the details when I'm scanning this. Oh, come on. Lost it. Let me go back. Come on, find the subject. Find it. Find it. No! Fail. Absolute fail. Right. I'm going back to the non-swivel chair, because I think this swivel chair is actually going to get caught up too often. Let's go back to the non-swivel. Oh. And we'll do this a hard way. Let's try again. We'll delete that scan. Yeah, and don't bother synchronizing it. I don't want it. Don't want it. Go away. Stop making a mesh. Stop it. I'll delete that. Right, we'll start again. Try that. Take 2. Record. Find my subject. There it is. And I'm just going to orbit around my subject again. This time, hopefully, got a bit of distance so I don't get tangled up. I wish I had the, well, I've got the real sense at home, and I could have brought that in and tried to get that to work, but I didn't want to bring too much stuff into work from home. So I'm trying to use what kit we have sort of lying around. I do usually utilise things like the LiDAR scanner or the Matterport scanner for doing, higher quality stuff, or the Architect scanner, which is an amazing piece of kit, but again, very cost prohibitive for most people. So hence why I'm kind of trying to find the cheapest, dirtiest way of doing it. Can also do stuff with an iPhone. I don't have an iPhone. You can do an iPad Pro. I have an iPad Pro. But that depends again. I'm trying to find a way of doing it where you can do it sub £100 where possible. This is the cheapest, easy in if you want to do a dirty 3D scan. And there's nothing wrong with doing a dirty scan. That sounds really bad, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you don't want everything to be super high quality. It's nice just to get that kind of artistic expression through, necessity. I'm always a kind of firm believer in use what you've got, use what you can, and don't be limited by expense. So why I try and do this. So I'm just going to pick up my phone. I'm going to come on a little journey with me. My hair is a mess, like it always is. So let me flip the camera to show you what the computer screen's seeing. Keep it in portrait, there we go. So this is what I've been doing. So you can see here is our scan. This is what the connect was seeing. This is another view what it's seeing. And what I was trying to do is move around and keeping the subject in green. If it went red, I was too close. If it went blue, it was too far away. And if it's black, it doesn't see it. In fact, okay. And here we have our path. So you can sort of see how non-ideal that is. Ideally, I'd like it to be a perfect circle going at various levels up and down. But I'm kind of attached to a cord on a very limited space, so it's not the best way of doing it. Again, turntable, knowing the camera scanner fixed would be better. So I'm just going to go to reconstruct, just check that. So yeah, there's our model. I'm not going to do anything there. Process. So again, here is our model. I can rotate around. It also does capture the color data, but it's a Connect V1. The color data is a bit rubbish. So let's just colorize it just to show you what I mean by that. Resolution I'm keeping to 1mm because it just gives me the highest quality of it possible. Press run. And this is already over a million faces. So this is a fairly high poly model, and this was only a simple object I was scanning. If you're trying to do something a bit more complicated, like a person or a room, or or something with a lot more edges, then yeah, this would be not the way to go. So sorry about the phone wobbling a little bit. I haven't got a kind of camera mount on me today, which is not ideal. There we go. So there's our low poly JPEG texture, a low resolution texture on our model. And again, ideally I'd like a chair without a back on it, so I could have got to the very back, because if I scan around here, we can see there is a kind of hole, or there will be a hole there that I will have to fill in. I could either fill this in using the fill holes option, or editing this in Blender or some other program of my choice. So I'm going to go to simplify now, and I found that I've tried simplifying this down to 1000, and you could just get a triangle at that point. If you go to around about 20,000 is the kind of ideal situation. It's or the kind of recommendation for it if you're exporting this kind of objects from this program. So I'm going to go to 20,000 and press run. Now this will take a bit of time, so I'm probably going to kind of just do a bit of a ramble whilst that's doing that. But when it's finished, let me just swap the camera back. So yeah, when that model has finished processing and simplifying it, we'll be able to export that model into as an OBJ. The OBJ we could then also obviously import into Blender, Unity, Unreal. We're looking at creating a variety of level details, and if we were to use this in a real use case, so we'd have the super high poly for when we're close to the subject, but as we move further away, it gets to a low resolution or a level of density / detail. So I have to sort of speak like that sometimes because I have to get into my own head. So that seems to have now simplified. So let's switch the camera back. There we go. So yeah, you can see that it's now gone a lot more simplistic. Let's just recolorize it and see if we can get some of that color detail back in there. Might not have it, we'll see. But once we've done that, we can always go to share, export it. Now you can also, this is use these models for 3D printing, so we could take this into the 3D modeling or 3D printing program that's of choice. So I have a resin printer, so I tend to use like WXYZ program. I can't remember what it's called. I really shouldn't know what it's called. So that's what I tend to use. You can also use things like 3D Builder if you've got Windows to print it from that. I actually am going to use 3D Builder with this model to slice it. So I'm going to slice the base off, fill in the hole. I could take this into Blender and slice it, merge it with other models and do a tidy up that way. Again, I will do that, but I haven't got Blender on this machine. This is very haphazard. This is why it's behind the scenes. It's not a tutorial in the slightest. So I might, if anybody wants a tutorial on this or a proper, better tutorial on how to do 3D scanning, whether it's from the cheapest solution to the most expensive kind of high quality one, I can do that. At some point, if just people have to let me know. Oh, there we go. So it's put our color data back in. So we've got some of our detail back, and it's still low poly. It's fine. It's not amazing, but it'll do. In fact, I think we've got a bit of ghosting going on there. A little bit. That might be because I colorized it, then let's simplified it, and then recolorized it. That's quite artistic. I actually don't mind that, so I might actually keep that as is. I can then press save. This saves it so I can reopen this project at a later date, or I can export my model if I've got a pro version. And I tend to go with OBJ just because that's what I prefer working with. I would like to be FBX, but it's no FBX. STL is more for printing, really. Colors I tend to keep as a texture UV, so that exports as an MTL and a PNG image, so I can actually take that into Photoshop and work on that. If it's per vertex, it's a bit harder to work with. Faces, because it's an OBJ of texture UV, it'll tell me to go to 20,000 anyway, which is why I'll just simplify it to that point. Millimeters is a scale I'm going to work with. I'm not going to work with meters or inches on this occasion. And color space, I'm going to keep it to sRGB just because it's again, the color gamut I'm kind of more used to. Sketchfab is where we can upload it onto Sketchfab websites again, so other people could download it. I just press export, choose where I want to save it, and off we go. That's it. That's as complicated as it gets with that program. But yeah, my plan today is I'm going to see if anybody in the area wants to be scanned for free, give me some more practice with this, and I'm trying to build up a repository of models that I can give away as free resources, so people can play about, build their own scenes. So just a kind of heads up on regards to that, on our website, which is catalystchannel.co.uk, in the coming weeks/months, it's taking us longer than we want. It's not ideal. There's a lot of things going on that's slowing us down in a good way. And what will happen is we'll actually be able to have a full online course on there with our members area, which is going to launch when everything's ready. Don't want to launch it yet. But we're also going to have on the store a free download of assets that we've scanned from the Skanect. And the higher quality models will be available at a later date that will have a charge to them. So these lower poly, quicker, dirtier scans will be free. Better quality scans will be more, well, we'll have a price tag attached, obviously. So that, and thank you for watching. Sorry, I'm just rambling now, and I'm just going to kind of leave it for a bit and have a drink. Have a fantastic day. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.